Yes. Good evening, Masters. Really happy to be with you again. And we are really privileged to be here for the second session of book reading of second book, Doctor from Lhasa. And we are really thankful to Saroja ma'am and all the support system behind her. Pitamaha Patriji sir, and all the masters behind the screen, like Gangadhar sir, and many more masters. So, masters, let's start with meditation. Please close your eyes, hands crossed, legs crossed. Just be with your breath, masters. Let's invite the great master, Lobsang Rampa sir, to bestow his blessings on all of us, to share his immense knowledge, the power of willpower, the power of all the trainings he has got during his lifetime. Let all the energy, let all the knowledge bestown on us through him. Thank you, Master. Be with your breath, masters, for a few minutes. Let us all feel the love, energy, knowledge in his presence and guide us, to support us and lead the entire book reading and share the knowledge what he has bestowed on us. Thank you, sir. Let's all feel the energy, knowledge, which has been imbibed in his great book, The Doctor from Lhasa. Let's all feel his frequency, what he wants to share, and what we can really learn from his teachings. Rub your hands slowly, my masters. Put it on your eyes for a few seconds. 1, 2, 3. Slowly open your eyes. Open with a big smile. And let us all be thankful to our great master, Lobsang Rampa. And we wish he will guide us to lead the entire book with great support and blessings. Before we start with this book reading of Doctor from Lhasa, let's all, recollect the experience, what he has with all his trainings from his childhood days, what he has described, narrated as a story in his first book, The Third Eye. So we all know when Lobsang Rampa has born and at what age or at what time he has written his first book, The Third Eye. So it took again 3 years time, like in 1959 in England, he wrote this book, The Doctor from Lhasa. Though it seems like the main idea behind of writing this book is not in continuation of writing his biography of the third eye, but he just want to answer all the questions put together. Like when he was in England, he got so many comments and questions when he released the book, The Third Eye. So he wants to put an end to all the questions and the comments, what he got from many audience and the readers who has read his book, The Third Eye. So he thought of, giving a complete detailing of all the questions, and he wrote this book, The Doctor from Lhasa. So actually, as part of the book readings of the books which have been written by Lobsang Rampa, sir, there was a saying like for the first time when we read his books, it seems like we read it and we get them as a story, like a series of stories, how his life has been undergone from stage to stage in different stages. In each book, he has mentioned the different stages of his life, how he has undergone. But if you read the same book for the second time, we feel like to follow him. But for the third time, if we start reading this book, we feel like, we need to question ourselves. We need to also, travel our inward journey and seek whatever the trainings he has undergone, learn and derive the essence of what he has learned, even in our lives as well. So each reader will have a differentiation each time when we read his book. Okay, so the main essence of writing his book is always an indirect way of getting the essence of each book, like learning the different stages of yoga, his gift, clairvoyance, and many other aspects, like one second, like invisibility technique. It's a kind of invisibility, means it's a practice. It's a kind of a technique through which the invisible person guard his body with a shield. Okay, and he shields his body through electromagnetic waves. So the presence of a person is identified through electromagnetic waves. So once we lock the electromagnetic waves, the person, though he stands over there in front of us, he can be invisible. So these kind of techniques, these kind of trainings, he has been trained while he was in Lhasa. And he also has been trained with Antar Kumbhakam. That is really a wonderful technique to dissolve and de-stress all anger, fears, emotions easily. Okay, that is like to clear all the chemicals and enzymes in our body during our phase during stress or anger or anxiety. So in order to nullify all these emotions, he is telling us indirectly that we also can imbibe these kind of techniques and can learn and sustain in our daily life. And also some other techniques, powerful techniques using Hatha Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, Laya Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Samadhi. There are so many phases that he has narrated in the book, The Third Eye, where he has been trained and he has learned the brain efficacy, and he has learned the telepathy, aura reading, the clairvoyance, the astral travel. As he was born by virtue with great powers of clairvoyance, like he can see everybody's aura. Unknowingly, he is knowing everybody's aura, but he was not knowing that not everyone has got the same kind of gift. So once he was a child, when he was like 6 years old or so, when he was riding a horse, and when he was being trained by his trainer, he saw a old man lying besides the road, and his trainer was very much curious and anxious that that old man might have been dead. But Rampa was without any second thought, he was telling to his trainers that that old man is still alive because he could see his aura. And his trainer was so shocked that how come this little boy can see somebody's aura. And that is the moment when Rampa has realized that he could only see everybody's aura. So that is the moment he realized his power of noticing or observing aura in everybody. So that is the triggering point that we need to catch over here. And if we see the essence of the life of Rampa, it's all the plan, divine plan that has been laid before him. And the astrologers, the astrologer priests, and everybody, the high ranked people who studies, the forefathers and their own, their astrology, and by reading the essence of their forefathers' astrology, they predict in this coming year or the coming years, there's going to be a boy or a great man that so let's see why his life and his divine plan has so well planned, and what is the essence of taking his birth. So there was a situation, as you remember, in Third Eye.
Can you unmute yourself, madam? Sorry about that. Something is going on. Sorry.
Oh, sorry for that. Sorry. Yeah, let me start with let us discuss why his divine plan, why his birth has taken place, and what is the essence that we need to derive from his life. So we all know in Third Eye book, it was written like in 1910. There were some occasions the Tibetans were, had a chance of having invasions from their neighboring countries like China, Japan, and Russia. So during those times, the high-ranked people like Dalai Lama and the chief astrologers have studied the situation and have come to understanding like there might be a high risk of invasions that might happen in their future, and the whole culture and heritage of Tibetans will be ruined off, and all the richness, the knowledge that can be robbed from or that can be taken away from their neighboring countries when those countries invade Tibet. So with that point in their mind, they don't want to lose. They're not much worried about the richness or the economical status, but they were worried about their culture and their heritage and their deep-rooted knowledge that will be, waded off shortly. So in order to, save their culture and heritage, they strongly, did lots of meditation and found they have come up with so many resolutions like how to get away from this situation. So they started, digging many solutions, and they started, searching for a person who can really store and restore all the knowledge, whatever they have gained and whatever been stored or whatever been written in their holy scriptures in a very short time, and who they can really train such a person and can send them secretly to Western parts of the world. And once the situation gets settled, they want to call back that person and want to restore their culture and heritage through books. Okay, this is the main idea why they were looking for a kid or a person who to whom they want to share the whole knowledge and imbibe their knowledge and train him within a short period of time. So during that period, they found a person in a high-ranked family, and they identified him as Lobsang Rampa because during the event of a ceremony that have been established by their family, all the prominent astrologers and priests, narrated his prophecy, and in the prophecy they have clearly narrated that Lobsang Rampa is going to become a lama in a lamasari, and is the tough times he is going to deal with, and the knowledge he has been acquainted with, and his powers, his intuition powers and clairvoyance powers by virtue. And when they narrated it, they have matched with their ancestors, their forefathers and abbots life history, and they have correlated and they have confirmed, and the same life has taken an incarnation, and they have decided and took permission from their parents to train up Rampa and give best on all their knowledge, train him in a very serious mode. Their state of teachings are a bit different from what we usually are taking, and what kind of schools we are going with, what kind of trainings we are dealing with are completely different from the way he has been trained. Like when he is 7 years old, old boy, he started his day, like waiting at the entrance gate, sitting still without moving a single inch. So his journey, the toughest journey, has started from day one in Lamassery. And so from there, he got the entrance. And from there, his journey started slowly. He got acquainted with the Lamassery services. and the studies, the state of trainings he has undergone. And at the age of 7, he has, in very short time, he has gained lots of intensive trainings, which a 17 years old person will gain. So that's the way, that's the immense and the intensity of the trainings that he has undergone. So so during that phase, his master, his beloved master, Lama sorry, Suchita, can you please unmute yourself and
yes, Lama Mingyadundu.
Lama Mingyadundu. So he is his beloved master, and he was he gave his complete knowledge, and to a stage he by his help he has attained mastery in medical sciences and astrology, knowledge in their holy scriptures. So eventually, after gaining lots of knowledge, he has gained entrance, to visit Dalai Lama, the 13th Dalai Lama. And he was privileged to go there, and he has presented his skills over there, and all the reports, whatever he has studied, and the strengths of Lhasa Brangpa has been subjected to Dalai Lama. So he was and Dalai Lama was so happy, and he received him, and he propagated the next flow of his studies. So there is an immense guardians around him and observing him keenly, so that he will imbibe and inculcate all their culture in a very short span of time. So at the end of his studies, once he has finished his studies with expertise on herbs, so they used to they used to go to different places and lamaseries to collect herbs, and to climb mountains, which is 20,000 feet above the sea level. The toughest paths they have undergone, the toughest trainings they have undergone, the toughest ways, to grab the knowledge of the herbs and how to heal. And he is very gained lots of expertise in studying people's aura. So he has undergone with a third eye operation, where his glands were glands were triggered, so that his natural immense power has been increased immensely. And from then, he used to easily study everybody's mind, everybody's aura, the inner strengths, their weaknesses, their strengths, weaknesses, and their state of body. And based upon that, he used to help during the high-end meetings that used to happen when neighboring countries' ambassadors used to come and to discuss upon the politics. So he used to give very crucial answers or crucial findings during those meetings, whatever he has found and whatever he has observed during those meetings. So yeah, this is what the lifestyle that has happened, and what he has written in Third Eye, and how he has traveled in each phase of his examinations, like from Chella to Trappa, and finally to as a Lama. So that's the journey that he has covered in the book called The Third Eye. Now let's see like how he has continued his journey from Lhasa to Chongqing city of China. So let's see how he has accepted and surrendered himself, though he knows the prophecy, the hardships that he is going to face. So it's not easy, my dear masters. So if we know the prophecy of our life, that's what's going to happen in our life the next moment, and if it is so good, if it is a kind of a bed of roses, or it's so simple, then we can accept it very easily. But what if the journey is going to be very bittersome, and and if the journey is too hard to take it? So though Rampal sir knows what his life is going to be, and where his life is going to be, and to what kind of strangers he is going to meet, and to what circumstances he is going to lead with, he did not lose his willpower, that the essence of his life is to sustain and restore all the culture and heritage, the values, and above all, the complete knowledge and from the Holy Scriptures, and the strength, the main frequency that has been described in their whole Holy Scriptures. He want to see those knowledge through books and through his teachings. When when there is an invasion in their own country. So this is the main essence of his life, and he has successfully, completed his vision, or completed his plan. So masters, it's like whatever we have come up with, everybody has got their own plans, and we need to, drive our show, however the hardships we come over with. So here is the continual, it's a kind of a continual of his autobiography, the story from the third eye, and we'll take to the next level. Thank you, masters, and over to Suchita. Suchita, can you please start with chapter 1?
Thank you, Sri Lakshmi Madam, for a wonderful recap of what happened till now in the first book, and thank you so much for giving all the details. Thank you. Now let's welcome Suchita. Suchita, can you start your video, Amma?
Sir, you cannot see my video?
Yeah, now I can see, Amma. I will spotlight you now.
Yes. Good evening, my masters. Welcome back to CCC Reading Club. My name is Suchita. Today, I'm going to read a great book named A Doctor from Lhasa, written by Loksan Grandpa.
I can't see your video, Amma. Sorry to disturb you. I can't see your video.
Sir, can you see it now?
No, madam. Can other masters see the video?
No.
No, we can't see.
Okay, thank you. Suchita, can you switch on your video, Amma?
No, it's something like actually she's doing that in the same device. So when she's switching over to the document, I think there's some glitch that we cannot see her video.
Okay, but we can't see the document also.
So how do we depict that document over here?
Yeah, so we need to share the document.
Okay.
Yeah. Or otherwise you can do it today, madam, if possible.
Yeah, let me share.
Yeah,
from
that
my
you can
end.
do, madam. You can share and Suchita can explain. Even that is fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, let me share. 1 second. Let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
No, madam, we can't. I think you need to share the screen. Share screen and then the document.
I had felt so cold, so hopeless, and so miserable. Even in the desolate wastes of the Chang Tang Highlands, 20,000 feet or more above sea level, where the grit-laden sub-zero winds whipped and cut to blood-stained tatters any exposed skin, I had been warmer than now. There the cold was not so bitter as the fearsome chill I felt at my heart. I was leaving my beloved Lhasa. This is, my dear masters, this is the experience what Lhasa Rampa has faced while he is leaving his home. You know, when we know, like if we are going for higher studies, or when there is a situation that we need to leave our hometown, everybody will have a heart-throbbing experience, right? So likewise, even Rampa also had the similar situation. And on top of it, he knows his future. And as per the prophecy, he knows how hard and how tough his life is going to be, right? Knowing his future, even then he accepted, my dear masters. This is what the thing that we need to learn from him. So whatever be the situation we are going to face, whether we know it, whether we know the situation or we don't know the situation, we should always accept the situation. We should always accept the person or persons as they are, as it is. So this is what we have to derive the essence from Rampa's book. So going forward, yes, I turned and I saw behind me diminutive figures of the golden roofs of the Potala, and above them a solitary kite dipped and bobbed in the slight breeze, dipped and bobbed as if to say, farewell, your days of kite flying are over now, and to more serious matters. To me, that kite was a symbol, a kite up in the immensity of blue, held to its home by a thin cord. I was going off to the immensity of the world beyond Tibet, held by a thin cord of my love for Lhasa. I was going to the strange, terrible world beyond my peaceful land. This is what, masters, what he is getting a message by looking at the kite. While leaving his lovable place, that is Lhasa, he turned around and he saw the kite last time flying on the top of the Potala. Then it seems like the kite is conveying and narrating some message, two kinds of messages. Like one is kind of bidding a farewell to him, saying, telling him that, you know, your days are gone, like the training days or the childhood days. Now it's the time to grow, and all the serious matters you need to deal with. That kind of message has been conveyed to Rampa when he looked at the kite, and also a message, an inner message triggered in his heart, saying that though, however, the kite flies higher in the sky, there will be a thin, layer of thread that is always held up, so that however high the kite is flying, that is nothing but the love, the bond of love. This is what the message he took it while looking at the kite. So I I was indeed sick at heart as I turned my back upon my home and with my fellows rode off into that great unknown. They too were unhappy, but they had the consolation of knowing that after leaving me at Chungking, 1,000 miles away, they could start of home. They would return, and on their journey back, they would have the great consolation of knowing that every step they took brought them near to home. I had to continue ever on the strange lands, to strange people, and to stranger and stranger experiences. And the bitter experiences, what, my dear masters, what Rampa has experienced is, while he is leaving Lhasa, his beloved place, his friends and his classmates have accompanied him to drop him at Chungking city in China. But the strange feeling over here is they will just come and drop him, accompany him throughout their journey, but they will return back. And so that joy makes them to that they are going to return back. That kind of experience Rampa doesn't have. So he's feeling very, very bitter. And though the situation seems to be undigestible, he's recalling the strange experiences, what he has experienced that point of time. Okay. The prophecy made about my future when I was 7 years old had said that I should enter a lamasery and be trained first as a chela, then on to the state of a trappa, and so on, until in the fullness of time I could pass the examination of a lama. From that point, so the astrologist said, I was to leave Tibet, leave my home, leave all that I loved, and go out into what we termed barbarian China. I would journey to Chungking and study to become a doctor and surgeon. According to the priest astrologers, I would be involved in wars, I would be a prisoner of strange peoples, and I would have to raise above all temptation, all suffering, to bring help to those in need. They told me that my life would be hard, the suffering and pain and ingratitude would be my constant companions. How right they were. My dear masters, if you remember, he is recalling all the prophecy that has been narrated by astrologers and priests head during his 7th birthday. See, however, he was the book while he was writing this book, he has experienced all the experience what the higher priests and prophecy has been narrated. So he's so strong enough, and he was telling, he's recalling himself, see how right they were, and he's recalling the suffering and the hardships and the pain that he has faced with. Yeah, now let's go with the story. So with these thoughts in my mind, not by any means cheerful thoughts, I gave the order to carry on forward. As a precaution, when we were just beyond sight of Lhasa, we dismounted from our horses and made sure that they were comfortable, that the saddles were not too tight nor too loose. Our horses were to be our constant friends on the journey, and we had to look after them at least as well as we looked after ourselves. With that settled, and with the consolation of knowing that our horses were at ease, we remounted and resolutely set our gaze forward and rode on. So they have ensured that their journey is smooth enough while they are going on fast horses. So that's how they have started their journey, and it was early 1927. And masters, can you guess how old he was when he's when he is going to China, Chungking city, and in the year 1927, is 17 years old, my dear masters. In 1910, he was born, right? So by that time, he's 17. Okay, so slow way to Chatang on the river Brahmaputra. We had many discussions as to the most suitable route, and this by way of the river and canting was recommended as being the most suitable. The Brahmaputra is a river which I know well, having flown above one of its sources in a range on the Himalayas when I had been fortunate enough to fly a man-lifting kite. We in Tibet regarded the river with reverence, but nothing like the reverence with which it was regarded elsewhere. Hundreds of miles away, where it rushed down to the Bay of Bengal, it was deemed to be sacred, almost as sacred as Benares. So, as in India, we worship our rivers, we worship with great love and devotion, masters. Likewise, even Tibetans also have a great culture of, worshipping great rivers and the sacred rivers, how, and he is narrating the way, the devotion, how they have all the Tibetans people have imbibed with. It was the Brahmaputra, so we were told, which made the Bay of Bengal. In the early days of history, the river was swift and deep too, and as it rushed down almost in a straight line from the mountains, it scored away at the soft soil and made the wonderful bay, the glorious bay. We followed the river through the mountain passes into the Sikang. In the olden days, the happy days, when I was very young, Sikkim was part of Tibet, a province of Tibet. Then the British made an incursion into Lhasa. After that, the Chinese were encouraged to invade, and so they captured Sikkim. As we discussed, my dear masters, it was like their prediction that has come into reality, that, the British people, with the help of Chinese, invaded Tibetans. So first they have captured Sikkim. So I think it would be easy for us to correlate why Dalai Lama and Lhasa Rampa's masters have approached Rampa and trained him immensely, and showered their complete knowledge to him and sent him to different parts of the world to seed the culture and to restore their culture through books. Can you correlate, my dear masters? This is the reason. They have seen this reality much before this has come into existence. And Gangadhar sir, can we continue, or do we have time constraint?
I think we can close for 2, or we can do another 5 minutes, madam. It's up to you.
Yeah, let me complete this paragraph.
Yeah.
They staffed it with Chinese officials. Officials who had lost favor elsewhere were sent to Sikkim as a form of punishment. Unfortunately for them, the Chinese government gave them no support. They had to manage the best way they could. We found that these Chinese officials were mere puppets, helpless men, ineffectual men at whom Tibetans laughed. Of course, at times we pretended to obey the Chinese officials, but that was mere politeness. When they captured the Sikhs, the Chinese people, Chinese officials could not do anything for Tibetans, whatever they have imagined. It's like they have just acted like puppets, like helpless man, and left the place under the influence of Britishers. So with this, we'll close the session, masters, and we'll continue in the next level. Thank you, masters.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Madam, is it finished?
Yes, sir. With this, we can stop and we'll continue from the next session, sir.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, masters, anyone has any questions, any feedback, anything, you can just raise your hands and inform. Otherwise, we will meet next week.